Thank you so much, Evan. A very hearty good morning to you all. We are about to get into that transfer deadline story that Evan was telling us about just now. In fact, the very first thing that we want to come back to on right now is tell you about how the deadline closed yesterday. And among the notable moves, it included the PSL, the Player of the Year, Lebogang Manyama, moving to Turkey. Now, Manyama, who was snapped up by a Turkish club, Konyaspor, the deal is subject to a medical. Mamelodi Sundowns
come out and determine that.
Gaining defender Rivaldo Coetzee from Ajax, whose deal with Celtic fell through. Midfielder Sfiso Mieni swapped Johannesburg for Pretoria as he signed for SuperSport United from champions Wits on loan. Now, soccer's summer transfer window closed in the wee hours of this morning with Rivaldo Coetzee, as I've just said, moving from Ajax Cape Town to Mamelodi Sundowns and Mario Booysen crossing over from Sundowns to Ajax. Lebogang Manyama, the talismanic captain of Cape Town City, will be plying his trade in Turkey. Of course, subject to that ominous medical. The big stories, though, have come from Europe with Brazilian forward Neymar as the most expensive transfer of the season and in history. The Barcelona forward moved to Paris St Germain for a record €222 million. The second most expensive deal came in the form of a loan, with Paris St Germain signing Kylian Mbappe from Monaco for €180 million. Nkomo Player Agent joins us to look at some of these massive signings. Good morning to you, Ralph, and thanks for coming through.
Good morning. For me, it's a good time because being part French, I've been based in France half my life, so for me to see Paris, which is my team anyway, you know, doing this kind of deals, I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Look, I think, you know, the raw emotion that you're expressing right now is pretty much what I would imagine most of Paris is feeling, because now all of a sudden Paris St Germain is definitely not just promising and showing the potential. Paris St Germain has actually got the firepower. It's got Cavani, it's got Dani Alves, and now Neymar and Mbappe.
I'm going to touch on a few things. First, Neymar was €222 million. The day before, the WHO were appealing for $200 million to eradicate polio. That is scary. And Paris put that kind of money without even a second thought. Because when Barcelona put that buyout clause, they didn't know Paris would be bold enough to do that. And secondly, for Mbappe, because of financial fair play, they've spent another £166 million for him, but they only just have to pay it in September because they're playing with. Don't be surprised when the Qatari government, one of the departments, Qatar Airways or any of the departments, all of a sudden sponsors PSG for $400 million for the next 4 years.
Just like that.
Because then they're covered. So financial fair play doesn't work with the team like Man City or Paris St Germain because they're state-owned. They don't have a budget.
Here's a question.
Yeah.
What relationship does Qatar have with PSG?
They own them.
So
the Qatari government, one of the royal sons, owns PSG.
So we're looking at a situation, for example, when Barcelona's Neymar, former Barcelona's Neymar, moving from Barcelona to PSG, is literally taking a hand out of, like, money out of one pocket, putting it into the other pocket and saying, whoop, the player can move.
State acquisition. Because look at what has happened. We won't go into politics. Saudi, everybody, the blacklist Qatar. Qatar next day, boom. They've got a team that represents them, is their face, in Paris, Europe's main capital, okay? And the team buys Neymar. The whole world knows Neymar will be Ballon d'Or in a few years. Now, they got Mbappe, the most exciting African 18-year-old, because it's Cameroonian, let's face it, the most exciting young player in the world. I mean, Mbappe is probably the most exciting player since Ronaldo, the original. Because remember, at 18, that's what Ronaldo was beginning to promise. So it's fantastic for football because now there's a power shift. Remember, Barcelona just used to click the fingers and the player goes there.
That's right.
Now this thing has hit them, like they're in shock. That's why you see they panic. They're panicking. They're going to every team that's got a decent player and offering silly money.
It is silly money, isn't it? I mean, it's fairly obscene. You just mentioned now the WHO just now were asking for 200 million rand to eradicate polio.
Yes.
And then the very next day, within days after that,
Yeah,
PSG just splashes out the money on a football player.
yeah, one person.
Wow, talking about Barcelona and their, some of their desperation, they've gone for Ousmane Dembele.
Yeah.
Dembele would not buy the. He's not really a desperate buy, is he? He's got he's got talent.
He's top talent.
He's top class. He's gonna fit in very nicely. Unlike what some people say Paulinho does in that team.
But is he gonna sell jerseys like Neymar? Remember, football these days it's so commercialized now.
Yes.
It's about how much they can recoup from the 150 million euros that they're supposed to pay Dortmund. See, they need to sell jerseys. They need a player with branding, and Ousmane, not yet. He's young. He's a top talent in the future. He's top. Maybe he'll even be better than Neymar in the long run. But
For
right now,
he's not. Yeah.
They won't make their money back.
So now, is this sustainable over the next 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 seasons? Is it sustainable for player transfer fees and their wages to be so high?
No. It's all going to stop, because what's going to happen is next year, teams will try and go around the world looking for big sponsorships, so they can also, and you see people will stop putting buyout clauses, because that's what killed Barcelona. That's why Liverpool is in a stronger position with Coutinho. They won't let him go because they don't have a buyout clause. You just say, I'm not selling.
Either we're going to sell, we're not going to sell.
Yeah.
It's not about can you trigger the buyout clause with how much money you've got.
Yeah, it's not about money. You see, and touching on Liverpool and the Premiership, what Oxlade-Chamberlain did sort of brought a bit of faith back into football, because he refused big money to stay at Arsenal, refused even bigger money, almost double what he's getting in Liverpool at Chelsea, to stay at Liverpool for sporting reasons. Because people are now forgetting there has to be a sporting project balanced with a financial project.
Yes.
It can't just be about money, you know, and then you're losing the working class, who are the biggest fans of football.
No, that's true. Talking about working class and fans of football, a lot of people were really disappointed to see that Rivaldo Coetzee's dream move to Celtic just was scuppered by a medical. Rivaldo Coetzee on the verge of playing UEFA Champions League football, and all of a sudden a medical comes out and he can't move. He's now moving to Mamelodi Sundowns, which is a very good move for a South African player, but I'm sure Celtic versus Sundowns, he is a little disappointed. How could it happen that a medical get in the way of such a big move?
The boy will be gutted. The boy will be gutted. I'll tell you, in Europe, when they do a medical, they check your heart, they check everything, because for them it's an investment, not for 1 year or not for 2 years, but for long term. And because the boy is about, what, 20?
He's 20.
It's a long-term investment. So I think the boy should have had a stringent medical here, because the facilities are here, you know. Then after that, you inform the team that, listen, the boy's got a slight injury, like what Chelsea did with Bakayoko, like what City did. You know, if you inform them, look, I got a slight injury, but by October I'll be playing. But it looks like they should have really put Celtic on a back foot and literally force them into the deal. Because what they've done, wow, it's okay. I mean, he'll be playing in 2 or 3 months. I don't know.
So the door's not shut from going to Europe if that is what he still wants to do next season.
It's far too much good quality.
Right.
What he should do, he should target to play to go. Because the danger of the boys is he might get too comfortable. Because let's face it, when you play for Chiefs, Pirates, or Sundowns, it's easy here. It's easy. You drive nice cars. The life is very good.
Yeah.
So it's easy. If he keeps targeting going out there, then maybe, you know,
stay hungry.
He has to be hungry.
Like Lebogang Manyama is about to move to Turkish club Konyaspor, and he would definitely have to go through that same medical. And hopefully everything has been made apparent and clear to his new club, that, you know, if he's got any niggles, that they actually know up front, because that could get in the way like it did with Rivaldo.
What we used to do is we would fax his medical history before he gets there.
Right.
I mean, I remember I had a player who was signing for a very big team, I can't say, you know, in England. And the coach forced us to do for him to train with the team before we signed. And I remember the player saying to me, hey, Ralph, what if I injure myself? I said, play. So he twisted his knee. And now when they're doing the medical, they kept on referring to the knee. And I said, no, you guys injured him. We talked about it, but, ended up signing. But guess what? We had to go...
A little lower.
The salary. We had to drop £20,000 a week.
Crazy.
I know.
Ralph.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really key information that you're giving us. Very valuable, especially during this time. And we sure hope that a lot more players and agents, as well as staff, medical staff, look a little more closely at what they do before they send a player over for medicals by foreign powers, if I could put it that way.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
There you have it, Ralph Nkomo, player agent, Deluxe, talking to us about some of the things that we've all been talking about on social media, as well as with our friends back home and right here in the office.